Hello and welcome to Writer's Ramble. I'm Deanna.
And I'm Michael.
And we're continuing with The Darkness on Chapter 5 now, called Goodbye.
The Darkness. Ooh.
You gotta do that every time.
Do I do that every time? Man, I'm just predictable, aren't I?
Done it a couple times. Anyways, you're just excited, right?
Well, yeah, but also, it's just such a dramatic title, you know?
Yeah, I guess it would be for a children's story.
Yeah. With fairies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I was going for something dark and edgy at that age, which...
dark at it.
Yeah. I was going for something dark and edgy. I think I just wanted to be taken seriously as, like, a kid writer. Kind of like, oh, look, we can enjoy dark things, too, and serious things. But how serious is it? They just went on a scavenger hunt in his own home. It's like, oh, go to a place where you eat. So cryptic.
I feel like you've always had a desire to be serious and taken seriously, but like you also had I would say, pretty sheltered upbringing, so like you definitely didn't know at that age what like hardship was like. That's for sure.
Fair. Anyways, to continue chapter 5 now, Jace woke up in the morning realizing he fell asleep after agreeing to save Samantha. What a weird point to just conk out, I guess. He's like, yes, I'll save her.
After a good night's rest, because I'm a good boy.
Yeah.
It was 9:08 p.m. when I fell asleep.
He got dressed in a red t-shirt with blue jeans, socks. He brushed his teeth, hair, and washed his face. This is like...
Did he also wear one of those little propeller hats that every little boy has in cartoons?
He's 13, sir. He's a teenager.
Oh my gosh. You probably did have that like thought in your head when you were writing him.
What do you mean?
Well, you know, it's like a dark story or whatever, and so it's like, and the characters need to be taken seriously. What age should they be? I guess 13, because teenagers are very serious and not stupid at all.
They're practically adults.
I mean 18 is an adult, so is 19, but like 13 is still 5 years away from that.
It's kind of funny because, like, as a kid, I always looked, like, I could not wait to turn 13 because then I would officially be a teenager. But, you know, being a lot older now and, like, looking back at that age, I mean, we make fun of, like, you know, being 13, 14 and just, like, the way how we looked at things back then and just kind of like, aw, you sweet summer child.
I think it's funny that, like, 13, technically a teen. Yeah, but, like, when you really think about it, it's, like, arbitrary because, like, 13 is just the first number that has teen in it decided by language, you know? It's like 12 could have easily been that if language had gone a different way, you know?
Yeah, I used to think that, you know, when I was a preteen because I so desperately wanted to be a teenager.
You're trying to, like, justify in your mind, like, no, it's okay, language is subjective, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter!
Yeah, I guess so. Anyways, I just wanted to mention with the whole, like, getting ready in the morning thing, it's like, no. That's, like, classic newbie writing 101. You don't do that. You don't talk about, like, I woke up that morning, I ate breakfast.
Brushed my teeth.
It's like, that's nice. It's like, this morning, I had my cereal with brandy, so you're just a dumb kid. That's the only instance I can think of where it'd be good to maybe mention their routine if you're to see how messed up their morning is. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, if it's out of the norm, it's good to mention stuff like that because then it's like interesting. But like, if you literally like have a completely straight normal scene where it's like someone getting ready for the day, it's like, why did you do this?
Exactly. So
I brushed my teeth with orange juice and ate a whole tube of toothpaste for breakfast. That would be interesting.
All ready to go. Anyways, Where's my shoes? Jace murmured to himself, or where's my shoes?
Yeah, you did that whenever you said where, I noticed.
Yeah.
So I think that you, like, recently, when you started writing this, or maybe this is rewritten, so maybe you learned about it later on and you felt like you could, improve it with your improved vocabulary, but I think, like, you just recently learned the word murmur, because I think you use it quite a bit.
Yeah, I mentioned, I don't remember if it was the last episode or the one before, but I think maybe I discovered it in, like, Twilight of all things, and I was just like, that's a great word. I'm gonna use that.
Gonna use the crap out of that word.
Yeah, so he's always kind of like, where's my shoes?
Imagine if the character was, like, always like that. like that was kind of a character trait. Like, he's a hero, but he's, like, kind of like, I'll defeat you. Oh, you can't get away with this darkness.
But someone did mention that with Twilight, something realistic about it was just like how awkward a lot of the dialogue was, and like people kind of muttering and murmuring things, which I think is kind of true. I mean, even now, I still struggle to understand you sometimes because you mumble a lot, so. And you did it a lot more in high school.
Wait, I feel like I missed something. Didn't you say they did that in Twilight?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with me?
I was saying it's like a teenager thing, and
Oh, I see.
or maybe just a young person thing, I'm not sure.
I've always had a problem with that. Like, even amongst other people roughly my age, like my older sister didn't have a mumbling problem the way that I did. I still kind of do. When I'm doing the podcast, I enunciate as best I can. I feel like I do all right, but, like, I don't know, in, like, normal conversation, I don't really care to pick my words as carefully, and, like, I feel like that can sometimes make it so that, like, if I mess up on a sentence, I'll just kind of, like, like, just kind of peter out. I don't know.
Anywho, onwards with where we last left off. Where's my shoes? Jace murmured to himself. He realized Sean probably hid his shoes because he always does that, thinking it's so funny. What a just dumb kid thing, I guess. Jace.
Well, the one characteristic that Sean has is that he's stupid.
Yeah.
Debilitatingly so.
Jace climbed downstairs. His stomach growled for two reasons. First, he was hungry, and second, he's leaving in a few minutes. It made him feel really scared. Awkward.
And that made him hungry?
Like, I think what I meant was that, like, he just wasn't feeling good.
Oh, I
but
see.
it had a similar, like, he wasn't sure if he, like, wasn't feeling good because he was hungry or because he was scared. And I just did a poor job with explaining that. Dumb kid me could really use some editing here.
You're gonna, like, read this story and just eventually decide, like, no, it's too bad, I gotta rewrite this.
I seriously have thoughts like that sometimes.
No.
He saw that Sean was playing with his shoes. Why? It's like, oh, it's an airplane.
Was he also, like, chewing on the shoelace and drooling out of the corner of his mouth and staring off lazy-eyed into the distance?
Wonder which one's the real dog in the family. Hey, give me back my shoes, Jace said, chasing Sean. Sean threw his shoes up in the air like a football. Dexter yipped as the pair of shoes hit him.
Can I just point out the way that you spelled yipped?
I knew you were going to.
It's awful.
Again, remember anxiously.
Yeah. Okay, so she spelled yipped. Yighppied. Like the word right, or I don't even know if there is a word that has, like, GHP. I don't think there is.
I just would like to say there's a reason why I'm reading this out loud, because I know what I meant.
I mean, I think I would have figured out what you meant I probably would have said yiped, though, because I think that's how that would be pronounced if that was a real word.
Anyways, pair of shoes crash down on their dog, animal abuse. He, Dexter, stumbled over, making a glass vase fall off of a table. Sean, go to your room, where you can't break anything important, Jace's mom yelled.
He really is just a menace to society and himself.
Pretty much. His face turned red, like how it always does when he gets in trouble. Because he gets in trouble a lot, apparently.
I feel like the mom should be nicer to him because he's clearly, like, disabled.
He rides a short bus. He stormed upstairs. Jace pet
Jace pet Dexter.
Jace pet Dexter's head and tied his shoes on. Jace realized he was running away. Oh wait, Jace realized if he was running away, he had to write a letter first.
Had to.
Yes.
He didn't have to. It's a responsible thing to do. He's such a goody two-shoes.
Yeah, it's like leaving behind a note, like a suicide note or something.
I feel like those are very different things.
He went back up to his room, and then this next section is supposed to be his note to his parents. Dear Mom and Dad, I don't know how to put this, but I'm going through a crisis situation. I'll be gone for a few months, almost a year, but I'll be... What?
He's like trying to like alleviate their fears by leaving a note like, don't worry, I'll be fine. Except he's like, I'm going through a crisis situation.
I thought you were laughing at the terrible spelling.
That too.
I thought you just, like, couldn't contain yourself.
And also, like, a few months, maybe a year. Like those are similar things at all.
I'll be gone for a few months, almost a year, but I'll be back. Go ahead and ground me once I'm back. I'm sorry, but I'm leaving.
That seems like an appropriate punishment. You're grounded for 2 days.
I'll explain everything when I come home. I love you, and I'll miss you. Love, Jace. How considerate.
I'm going through a crisis situation.
I'm just gonna quote that from now on. I'm going through a crisis.
No, it's a crisis situation. That, like, makes it even more awkward. I'm gonna, like, say that in my everyday life if, like, something terrible's happening. It's like, what's wrong? I'm going through a crisis situation.
It's like dumb things. You, like, drop your keys and you're just like, I'm going through a crisis situation.
I'm, like, holding my head in my hands, hyperventilating.
Wow. You okay there, buddy?
No.
Tears streamed down his face. He wiped them away with his hand. Not his elbow, just so you know.
It looks more like he whipped it.
Whoosh.
He's got a tiny little whip and he just hits that tear right off with precision. Whoosh.
I don't need these fucking tears. I'm a man.
Yeah. 13.
Just
I just saw the picture. I'm sorry.
yes, I drew a picture of Jace. He looks more like a bobblehead than how he normally would look.
You know how Humpty Dumpty is usually depicted as an egg man? Yeah.
So
kind of like that.
The true Dr. Eggman.
He's a doctor? He's only 13. Wow.
Didn't you know that's close enough to being an adult?
Obviously. So anime tells me.
Yeah. Jace tucked the note in his pocket. Jace was eating scrambled eggs for breakfast, because this is important stuff. Although he felt sick eating, because he knew he was leaving very soon. Weirdly said. Anyways, his heart his heart also beated faster. Mom and Dad were picking up the pieces of glass. Jace felt sorry for Mom and Dad. How sometimes they would have to pick up after Sean. Sean was always getting into trouble.
Did you know the word parents? He always said mom and dad, mom and dad.
Well, because, you know, from his perspective, it's Mom and Dad. I've noticed, like, other stories do that sometimes, and to me it's weird, but I've, like, seen that before.
In, like, publish things?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Easy to say parents. I mean, you could say mom and dad, like, and then parents the next time. I don't know.
I feel like maybe it's more common if it's, like, written in first person.
I mean, it's supposed to be a kid, I guess, but reads awkwardly.
Yeah. So don't do that. If you're writing something, just make it easier for the reader and say their parents. You know, maybe every once in a while say mom and dad if you want, but...
That's actually a decent bit of writing advice. Just, like, if you feel like things are written awkwardly, with lots of repeating words, and I'm sure you might have heard this before, but it's just like synonyms work wonders. If you know a good few synonyms, use them, and if you don't, thesaurus or thesaurus.com.
He, like, looks at his mom, it's like my prior vessel.
Bringer of life. But yeah, just if you feel like you repeat yourself a lot, synonyms are great. Don't know if anyone needed to hear that, really. It's pretty basic, but hey, there you go.
You know, not everyone knows because, you know, kid me didn't know, so...
You were also 11.
I feel like every time we talk about how old I was, the age changes every time, so people are probably like, how old were you when you were writing this?
Okay, so she was 9 when she initially wrote it, and then 11 when she rewrote some of it, so, to clarify.
I'm trying to remember if I was 11 or 12 when I finished.
I thought you said 11.
I don't remember.
We're gonna say 11, because apparently she can't remember her own life.
Anyways, and this is his mom talking now. Ow, 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 ow.
Is she picking them up with her bare hands?
I guess.
That sounds dangerous.
I hate, like, that I include little things like, ugh. Because now I have to, like, read this out loud. I cut myself from the glass, Mom said.
You'll never make it as a voice actor.
I can redo it.
No, it's fine, I was kidding.
Plink, plink. Oh, that's the glass falling, in case you guys didn't know. All the glass pieces fell when she cut herself.
This reads more like a play where you have, like, noises and stage direction.
They both stood up. Maybe we could get it out with some tweezers from the bathroom, Dad said, leading her the way.
That sounds even worse.
Tweezers? Well, I mean, if you have glass in your hand, that's the only way.
Oh, I thought, like... it was written weird, I think, because, like, my assumption was that they were going to continue picking up the individual pieces of glass with the tweezers off the ground.
I don't know why they didn't think to get a broom.
Or a vacuum or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, like, if the pieces were, like, if there's big enough shards, you
and then
can...
then they're grabbing them with her bare hands, I'm sorry. That's kind of just a fun mental image. Like, why?
I think maybe what I was envisioning was, like, because, like, with bigger shards, you can pick up with your hands if you're careful, and then... Because, like, that's what I do, and then I go back for, like, the rest of it with, like, a broom. But if you have, like, a really big piece...
Well, the way it was written, I'm imagining, like, with all the tiny little pieces, just scooping it up with a big hand, you know, just grabbing a fistful of it.
Cactus hands.
It's like, ow, how could this have happened to me?
This is my chance, Jace thought.
While my mom is injured, I can escape.
Did I really repeat it? This really is my chance.
He's hyping himself up.
Yeah. Mom and Dad were already upstairs. Jace stumbled out of his chair. He took out the note and set it down on the table.
He fell face first into the glass.
He took a deep breath and raced to the door. I don't know why he has to fucking run. It's like...
He's gonna lose his nerve otherwise, yeah.
I'm just imagining, like, his parents are upstairs and you see, like his feet on the ground.
They hear the door slam, it's like, what was that?
I think he does slam the door, too.
You think that like the parents like would run downstairs and be like, "Dude, what are you doing?" I, like if it was an actual child and he was like running out the front door and they like saw him and they're like, "What are you doing?" He'd probably just be like, "Going to take Dexter for a walk," and then like goes back inside.
Mission failed.
We'll get him next time.
Oh my gosh. More tears streamed down his face. He was going...
Cry baby.
Yeah. He was gonna miss his family. He had a long, long journey. So dramatic. Jace finally reached the door and slammed it right behind him. See, he does slam the door. So it's like loud footsteps, and they just slam the door like... You know, yeah, it would have been his best bet to just, like, slink out quietly. Or maybe casually, just kind of like, oh, I'm just gonna go check the mail.
Maybe I'm, like, overthinking it, but, like... I know that you were also a bit of a goody two-shoes when you were a kid. Like, did you... Like, if you ever did something that, like, you felt like was maybe a bad thing. I actually don't know if you ever did anything bad, frankly. But if you ever did something that you know you weren't supposed to do, like, is this how you felt? Like you had to, like, pump yourself up and really, like, just force yourself to do it before you, like, came to your senses?
I honestly don't know. Because
it seems like a, like, simple thing to us. Well, it's not really a simple thing to, like, run away from home, but, like, you know, like, he's being dramatic about it. It's like, I wonder if that's how you would have felt if you were doing something like that, just like heart pumping, tears streaming down your face. A sad song playing in the background.
I mean, I was that kid. I don't even know if I should say that kid, because I don't know if it's common enough to, like, really recognize, but and this is when I was really little, like maybe 4 or something, but I was that kid that as soon as I told a lie, I couldn't even necessarily be caught because I would just burst into tears.
Yeah, you were not a normal child.
Anyways, Jace was now outside because
he went through the door. Wow.
It's like you leave your house and you're like, huh, I'm in another building.
This building is really big, I don't even see the ceiling.
He stopped. I think I meant he stopped getting a good look at his house, but it reads as like he stopped getting a good look at the house.
Didn't want it. Doesn't look back, this guy.
He jogged to his bike, which was parked next to the mailbox. He hopped on his bike, pedaling away from his house. While he passed by houses, he knew that he was now starting a new life. And I think that's the end of that chapter. So, what do you think?
This is gonna kind of get into my personal life a little bit. It's just what's on my mind, I guess. But, like, I recently played Kingdom Hearts. And in the beginning of that game, you know, like, the characters are, like, 15. And, like, the island that he lives on, it, like, starts getting destroyed by, like, darkness and stuff like that.
Darkness, you say?
The Heartless. But, like, he literally doesn't leave a note. It's, like, not even, like, a very long scene. He just jumps out the window and goes, and, like, his, like, world gets destroyed, basically, and he ends up in Traverse Town. Not that you really need to know any of that stuff. Basically, though, like, there's a single line from his mom that's like, Sora, dinner's ready. And, like, that's the only time you ever hear or see his mother, because, like, she and, like, that whole aspect is, like, that unimportant to the plot. And, like, it was, like, a really quick one and done type thing, versus, like, your story where, like, it's this whole dramatic scene.
Well, unlike Sora, Jace loves his parents.
I'm just saying, like, you made it such a big deal. You know, you made it, like, this, like, big thing in your story because you were a child, and, like, that would be a big deal to you, and you wanted to make it realistic. But I feel like most stories kind of do the Kingdom Hearts approach, where they kind of glaze over that part a little bit, because, like, that's not really the fun part of a hero's journey, you know?
Well, yeah, especially when you have kids involved. Like, no one gives a shit about their regular personal life, like with their parents or school or whatever. It's like, you need to get that shit out of the way so you can actually move forward with the plot. But
Yeah.
I do find that funny because realistically, how would you get away from that?
Well, not realistically, but it doesn't have to be realistic.
I just find that funny about kids' stories. Or like you've mentioned before, or like maybe the parents are like supportive of this, maybe it's like a journey they're going on, or whatever it is, and they're just like, you'll do great, honey.
Or they're dead.
Yeah, that's a common thing, you know, just kill off the parents.
Or it's like a Harry Potter situation where, like, the parents suck. And it's just like, I'm out of here.
I think it is funny though to look at kind of like obstacles with real life, like how would you handle those things when you're focusing on a much more interesting story. And I feel like that's why writing kids stories might be difficult, because it's like you gotta get them away from the parents. But I mean, you could have similar issues even like as like with characters that are adults, because it's like, you know, they have jobs, they maybe have a family that they have to support, and it's like, how do you get them away from those responsibilities?
You know, that feels easier, though, because, like...
They're an adult.
Well, yeah, but, like, also just in a lot of situations, not every story is, like, the end of the world or anything, but, like, oftentimes, you know, let's say, like, there's personal stakes. Someone that they know is dying, or has been kidnapped, or the world is ending or something like that. Suddenly, you know, don't really need to worry about your job.
So yeah, just look at what 2020 did to everyone.
I don't know why I just thought of Castaway. It's like he didn't have to worry about his job because he could not go to his job.
Gee, I wonder why.
I feel like there's... Well, I guess that's like a good example, I guess, because it's like there's a lot of ways you can like get them out of a certain situation. There's even like some stories where like they freaking hate their job. And like the whole sort of build up of the first act is like they leave their job and go do something they'd rather do, you know?
Kind of makes me think a little bit of The Catcher in the Rye, where Holden Caulfield just like, you know what, fuck this school, fuck everything, I'm out of here. And then the rest of the story's kind of, the rest of the story's kind of like, what should I do with my life?
It's like, oh crap, I'm in New York and I am running out of money and I have no idea what I'm doing. I was actually thinking of like The Incredibles. Because you know how he had that job he hated, and then like he had that like whole thing where he's like, or he had like that Mirage who's like, you could come work for us, and he's like, I could do that. I hate my job. I hate my life. I'm gonna go do superheroing again. And that's like the whole plot of the movie. But it's like it started out with him like having a terrible job that he hated. Like you could have that be like your character's motivation. It's like the bad parents example, except with a job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
But anyway, this has been Writer's Ramble. I've been Michael.
And I've been Deanna.
And I have been Michael's evil twin brother who was here all along. Ooh.
Wow. I never would have guessed.
He was sitting right here the whole time. Yeah, I've been sitting right here the whole time.
When'd you switch spots?
What do you mean switch spots? We're just sitting around the recorder.
Anywho, bye-bye.
See you guys in the next episode where we will be talking about Chapter 6, The Dimitri. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, what? I thought this was Chapter 5 that we were on.
No, it's Chapter 6.
Oh, wait, what? I'm confused.
It's really messed up, so I have more explaining to do. It's literally a person's name, Dimitri. But it's an object in this case, so shout out to Dimitri's out there. Hey, what's up?
You're an object, she's saying.
I'll explain next episode.
And with that, we will leave that next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.